And so, reaching to our last section here, we have our platform partner demo with Rentouch. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Raphael, who is the co-founder and managing director at Rentouch, for their demo. So I'll hand it over to you, sir.
All right, thank you. If you let me share my screen. All right. Yeah, so hello everyone and welcome to this quick PI planning app demo. First, I would like to point out that we from Rentouch are a proud Scaled Agile partner, and I would like to thank the whole Scaled Agile partner team for the opportunity to present here today, and of course their tireless effort, which makes this partnership so valuable. So thank you for that. All right, so my name is Raphael and I'm the managing director at Rentouch. Rentouch is a Swiss-based enterprise SaaS company developing solutions for agile teams. And our main product is the PI planning app, which is being used by large lean agile organizations like Renault, Travelport, Farmers Insurance, and many more. When it comes to remote PI planning, RTs are primarily concerned with the following three topics. The first one is preparation for the PI planning. Good preparation is even more important than in collocated PI plannings now. Then during PI planning, that all teams have full transparency so that they can have conversations about critical topics with each other and that they are not distracted by anything during the breakouts, but building their plan, defining risks, and solving dependencies with other teams. And the third one is how can we connect our boards with Jira, Rally, or Microsoft Azure DevOps so we don't lose valuable time and we can immediately start the first sprint of our PI once we've finished PI planning. And today the PI planning app integrates in a bidirectional sync with Jira, Rally, and Microsoft Azure DevOps. So these are the three topics I would like to dive in today. And let's start with preparation. So the PI planning app comes with two parts. One is the RT Cockpit, and the other is the actual planning app where the teams have their team boards, the program backlog board, program board, and the program risk board, etc. Now here we are in the RT Cockpit, and the RT Cockpit helps the RT to set up the upcoming PI planning. And it's very important in remote PI planning that all the boards speak the same language. We don't want to see our teams lose time arguing if a user story is yellow or green. So the RT Cockpit helps the RT to give the PI planning the necessary structure so that the teams can focus on the planning and the conversations. And that's what we can set up here for all the boards in the PI planning app. And once we are through with this whole setup, which takes up to 15 minutes top, we can jump into the PI planning app itself. Now here we can navigate to our team board. So we have a simple navigation here on the left side. And each team has their own team board with all the iterations to plan, our risk section, and our team PI objectives and uncommitted objectives. Now, typically, we start from the program backlog board where we manage the top 10 features ranked by the WSJF value. That's this number down here. And from here, we can assign a feature to a team. Once it's assigned to a team, it changes the color. This is extremely helpful for the RT to see which features are in planning already and which aren't. Because once it's assigned to a team, it appears on the program board in the program backlog column next to our team name. And now we can go down to our team board in order to break down the feature into user stories. Now here on our team board, if we zoom in a little bit, we can set the capacity up here, and the load is calculated automatically based on the story points that we have in this iteration. So if we, for example, drag this one over here, we see that we get this red highlighting, and that shows us that we have an overload in this iteration. And that's also reflected on the program board. So on the program board, we can see with these red spots here at a glance which teams have overloads in certain iterations on their team boards. that we might need to address as an RTE. Now, in order to break down the feature that we assigned before into user stories, we can place a new sticky note here on the board. And here we can see all the sticky types that we configured in the RT cockpit to be used on the team board with the color code that we defined. So we can write down a user story, something like that. And we can also apply a story point value right here on the card. And since we are breaking down a feature into user stories, we can also link it directly to the users to the feature that we assigned before, and we get this label here on the sticky note that shows us to which items it's linked. Now it's linked to that feature. As you can see, it instantly got a Jira issue key in that case because we synchronize here with Jira for this simulation. And if we click on this link, this brings us directly to Jira. We see the summary we defined, the story point value we set, also the link that we created between the story and the feature, and in which iteration we planned it. So if you have teams that prepared user stories beforehand and they have them in their Jira backlog, they can simply drag them into a synchronized iteration and they will instantly come in the PI planning app, and the teams can start redistributing them on the board and plan with those user stories. Now, once we know when we can deliver our feature, we can of course place the feature on the program board in the iteration we plan to deliver it. But during this process, we may also identify dependencies to other teams. And in that case, we have dependency sticky note. So we create a new sticky note. We select the dependency sticky type. And the specialty of the dependency sticky type is that we can see at a glance which team created it. So that's our team name here. And the arrow from left to right indicates on which team it depends on. So now in a remote setting, it's very important to have clear working agreements on how to behave when we have a dependency to another team, over which channels we want to communicate with the other Scrum Masters, for example. So once we know which team can take on the work, we can click on the depend button and share this dependency with them. So it gets instantly flagged here, but we can now switch to the other team because the other team receives this dependency stick in the exact same iteration, and they can now themselves plan this out with user stories. And once they know they can deliver it, you can see the button changed from depend to program, because now we want to send it to the program board in order to visualize the dependency on the program board with a string like we would on a physical board. And we can even remove the flag so that the RT understands that's an agreed dependency between two teams. Now, this board might look more crowded in your case, so we implemented some functionalities that help to better navigate this board. So you can, for example, hold down on a sticky note and it highlights all the relationships. If we zoom in on the board, you can see these labels that show us in which swim lane we are navigating or in which iteration we are. And you can also click on the link label of, for example, a feature, and you have an overview which items are linked to complete this feature. So which user stories, on which team boards they are, in which iteration they are planned. And yeah, this gives also a great overview for that. Now, all the boards in the PI planning app are real-time synchronized. So if we are here on this board on the left side, and someone else is dragging a sticky note, you can see that my name is on there. So you can instantly see who is editing a sticky note, and you can follow the movement in real time, which further enhances communication and collaboration in your remote PI planning, because it really brings this in-person PI planning feeling right into your remote PI planning, as it feels like standing in front of the same board. Now, during team, let me switch back to the other team. During team breakout sessions, teams may also identify risks. So we can place risks down here in our risk area and also select the risk sticky type for that. write down what risk we see. And the specialty of the risk stick is that we can set a label for resolved, owned, accepted, or mitigated right on our team board. So we have this label down here. Or if we think that's a risk that needs to be brought to the attention of the whole train, in that case, we can send it to the program risk board, or in that case, mirror it to the program risk board. So it stays on our board, but so because we want to keep track of what risks we defined and we provided to the program risk board, but it also comes in on the risk submissions on the program risk board, and we can see from which team they came from in case we have any questions during program risk sessions when we are going to address these risks one by one and drag them to the dedicated spot here on the board. Something that is updated when it's mirrored is that now that we have it moved to the mitigated status, it's also mitigated here on our team board. Yeah, and then we have, of course, our team PI objectives and uncommitted objectives. We can define them here, even use multi-line text. Set the business value from 1 to 10 and also apply the actual business value. If it's an uncommitted objective, we simply drag it down to the uncommitted area and we can sort them the way we want. And from here, we can also switch to a PI objectives overview board where we can see all the defined objectives team by team. And as an RT, that's very helpful to see how far have teams come with their planning, because if we see that one team has no objectives defined yet, we can instantly switch to that team board and see if they have any questions regarding the planning or feature socialization. Yeah, and something that might be also very helpful is that we have these small pie chart icons up here. This is the capacity allocation that shows you how well balanced your art is. So you see how much do you invest in new features or in maintenance, etc. And this is an overview for the whole team or for single iterations of your upcoming PI. And then we have something additional to the PI, to all the PI planning relevant boards. And these are the canvases that you can utilize for anything else that you need collaboration. So here you can, for example, define your working agreements, or you can set out your PI planning agenda, run retrospective sessions, and you can add canvases here, and also in the RT cockpit, you can enable more canvases for this PI session here. Yeah, so we really work really hard to keep the PI planning app intuitive and easy to use. Our main goal is to have it as simple as when we work with physical sticky notes. It is extremely important to us that there is no steep learning curve, but that you can start right away with planning and focus on your plan and all the things that make PI planning so valuable. So if you would like to sign up for a free trial, or if you have a customer who you think would benefit from a solution like the PI planning app, please reach out to us and let us know about your plans so we can talk about a potential partnership and any referral benefits. For a trial, go to trial.piplanning.io. That's a free 30-day trial. If you would like to use the PI planning app to walk through PI planning simulations during safe trainings, you can get a free trainer account under simulation.piplanning.io. There you can, with one click, pre-populate simulations like Alice, Geekbooks, or even Jet Screamer. That's a simulation provided by 321 Gang. With that, I would like to thank you for your time. And if there are any questions, let me know.
So thank you very much, Raphael. Just looking at the chat session that you have the PI app has a lot of fans, and
Thank you.
and it looks like you even have a couple of fans for you too. So as he mentioned, we're at time, so we're going to end it right here. But if you do have any questions or you inquiries, there's his email right there, but also the web addresses he provided. And if you want to see some entertaining and informative videos, check out Rentouch's LinkedIn page. There's some great content there. And with that, I'm going to say thank you for joining us today. And we'll see you on March 2nd. Thank you, everyone.